Well, I woke up this morning. It was a fresh new blanket of snow. Here it is late March. It's time to be training, time to get those pedals going, and the weather outside is snowy. It makes me think about how weather really affects the way that we ride. And so I thought I would put together a little video about some of the experiences we've had with weather and ways that weather can really slow your roll and what you can do to overcome them. Everybody has their own particular pain point about bike touring and weather. You might find that humidity and heat make for an absolutely miserable day of riding, or that a headwind is just a real deal breaker. Winter riding, not even a chance. But if you are like most people, probably the biggest weather obstacle that you will ever face is going to be rain. Well, let's take on these meteorological matters one at a time, and starting with rain.
Yeah.
Like
once your feet are soaked, liberating because they probably can't get wetter.
Yeah. What could be more dreary than being out on some road 30 miles from your destination and the clouds that have been threatening all day suddenly just open up on you? You're soaked, your clothes are soaked, your shoes are soaked, your panniers are wet. Worse, it's dangerous. The roads are wet. Your rim brakes get soft and kind of spongy. Drivers can't see. You can't see. You've got raindrops in your eyes, you've got raindrops on your glasses. Sounds miserable, but there are ways to not let it own you. Let's use a worst case scenario as an example. It's raining hard. Everything is wet. Your clothes, your shoes for sure, and you, but everything dries. You have quick drying clothes, right? All cycling gear is pretty quick drying, and anything that you pack on a bike tour should be quick drying as well. In fact, that, along with weight, are the things that you're looking for in clothes that you want to wear on a bike tour. Now, shoes you can dry off with a wadded up newspaper, if you can find a newspaper these days. Or a heater, a fan, air conditioning, or just good old-fashioned sunshine, which is bound to show up sooner or later. And clothes? Well, if you're staying in a hotel, you can wash them with a little shampoo, hang them out to dry overnight. Same if you're in a campground. The point is, yes, you get wet, but it's not that big of a deal. It's fixable. And your panniers, your bags, everything inside? Well, first make sure you buy waterproof. Something like Ortlieb or something higher quality. You can also pack clothes and valuables in freezer-sized Ziploc bags just to be sure. Or a dry sack from REI. For the record, I have never had anything inside my panniers get wet on a bike tour, ever. And there's one more way you can stay dry on a bike tour. Check your weather app for the conditions for the days ahead, and then time your rest days to coincide with inclement weather.
Guess it's good we're not riding, wouldn't you say?
Everybody, or almost everybody, needs a rest day from time to time. Just double them up as weather days.
So what do you do on a day in Syracuse, New York, when it's basically rainy and you got a rest day and you got nothing to do? Well, we're going to find out.
Now, in terms of the idea that riding in the rain can be dangerous, make sure that your rain gear is high visibility. Make sure that you have your lights turned on and not some dim, worthless lights. Let's aim for 1,000 or even 2,000 lumens. And keep those rear lights flashing. You might find it better to not wear your glasses while it's raining, as that can really obstruct visibility. And a hat like a debrim.
Got the rain hat on, ready for the rain.
Or any rimmed hat can help keep the rain out of your glasses, out of your eyes, and help your visibility a lot. Finally, if you feel like the rain is just too intense, find some shelter, get off the road, and just wait it out. Especially in a lightning storm. Of course, the more you ride on traffic-free trails, the safer you'll be, so that's something to bear in mind when you're planning your route. But I find that riding in the rain, at least anything less than a downpour, is a beautiful and a magical part of any tour. The point is, with a little bit of planning, rain will not spoil your tour.
Heading into the wind. God, this has been such a slog. I hate this. I hate wind. Oh my God.
So what about wind? Well, no doubt about it, wind sucks. Or blows, depending on your point of view. Unless it's a tailwind.
Well, we got some breezes, but they seem so far to be blowing in our direction.
But routes change direction, so even a tailwind is likely to turn around and bite you. And a full-on headwind?
Very intense.
What could have been a 40-mile day of glorious riding suddenly becomes a slog. There's no coasting, it's constant pedaling. It dries out your eyes and your skin. It blasts your eardrums. Wind also has a tendency to be loaded with positive ions. And we know about negative ions. You see them in waterfalls and oceans and rainstorms, and they tend to make you feel very peaceful. Positive ions tend to put us on edge. Now, scientists aren't clear why these ions make us feel psychologically and emotionally stressed, but they are sure that the effect is real.
I hate this. I hate wind. Oh my God.
Side winds can blow you sideways, lurching you off the road, or worse, right into traffic. It doesn't help that your panniers, your bags, your bike packing gear all work as a sail on a side wind. I've had days of riding that just made my arms ache from just trying to keep my bike stable. And even though I have great memories about riding in the rain, I don't think I have any good memories of riding in the wind. So what to do about it? For starters, plan your trip around prevailing winds. You can find maps of wind direction online. Check your route and consider your options. For example, most riders prefer to ride the Loire River from top to bottom on account of the elevation drop. But it's actually easier to ride upstream on account of the wind direction. And it's well known that a tour across the United States tends to be easier going west to east on account of the prevailing westerlies. By the way, in terms of wind direction, westerlies represent wind that's coming out of the west, blowing to the east. Once you're riding in the wind, there's a few things you can do. If it's a headwind, I like having my hands down on the drops if you have them. Keep your elbows in, keep your body down, and just make yourself small. Same with side winds, but give yourself extra space. If the wind is from your left, give yourself a little extra room on your right and vice versa. Above all, keep your body stable and strong. But if it's a tailwind, by all means, make like a sail and let her go. I carry a pair of cat ears to block the wind from directly blowing in my ears, helping me hear and also helping me feel a little bit less stressed. But other than that, there's not a lot you can do. Try to keep a good attitude. Know that it's making you stronger. And that 35 miles that Strava says you just biked was actually closer to 50 in terms of effort. People pay good money to go to gyms to get that kind of a workout, so pat yourself on the back. Good job. Sweltering.
Cooking.
Steaming.
Sweaty.
Warmish.
My brain is cooked.
Hotter than... And then there's sun, heat, humidity. When those temps get up there, it's time to go inside. I start having real problems when the heat index gets above 100. It is, 7 a.m. maybe, and it's hot and it's sweaty. It's already really hot. It's supposed to be 100 today. 110 heat index. That's good. Not only is it miserable riding in the heat, but it's sticky, it's stinky, your clothes get sweaty, you get sweaty, and it can definitely deplete your energy stores.
Yeah, it's that place where your head is starting to pound and you're just, you're starting to hallucinate. I don't know how hot it is, and we're just totally soaking wet. And it is a beautiful day, and we're still enjoying ourselves. But my head's starting to feel heavy.
Yeah.
We're getting into the danger zone.
Yeah.
That little meter is starting to vibrate into the red.
Of all the ways that weather can screw up your bike tour, I think heat and humidity could be possibly the worst. You can ride through the rain or the wind, but you ride through the heat, you can get heat stroke, you can get heat exhaustion, you can get dehydrated. None of these things that you want. And it's obvious, but I'll say it anyway. Sunburn is a terrible thing to do to your body. You will definitely be paying for it down the road through bad skin or skin cancer. So how to deal? Start by adjusting your plan. Ride early in the morning. Finish before the sun gets too hot. Take shady breaks when possible. This is how we got through Missouri and southern Illinois during a heat wave when we were doing our cross-country bike ride. Now, we rarely leave early, but during this heat wave, we were out the door before daybreak, and we were done by noon. Checking in early to a hotel and resting in air conditioning. Drink a lot of water, of course. Use an electrolyte supplement if you can. Avoid heavy foods like meats or fats. And for crying out loud, avoid beer breaks until after the ride. Adapt. If you're new to the heat, like in an early season heat spell, or if you suddenly find yourself in a region with more heat and humidity than you're used to.
Boy, it's not so bad in the shade. Man, you get out there in the sun, it is hot. So hot. I think everything we say today is going to involve the word hot.
Then take time to get used to it. Go easy at first, then you can go harder as you acclimate. But don't simply try to ride through it. Heat exhaustion can mess you up for days, and it's nothing to scoff at. Now, as we rode through the heat of the Midwest, we did acclimate to it eventually.
We love this. Hot, humid, beautiful.
We still didn't take chances, but we found that we were able to ride longer and stronger as the days wore on. Of course, use plenty of sunscreen, not just sometimes, but all the time. Wear a helmet with a brim or a hat underneath, something that blocks the sun from your face, or something like a debrim. And if you're like me and your hair is getting thinner and doesn't block the sun anymore, then definitely put on a skull cap. I like to wear lightweight white sleeves to block the sun from my arms, and maybe a lightweight buff to protect the neck. You can also wet these down to keep you cool as the day goes on. Again, a bit of planning and you can beat the heat and minimize the long-term damage that it can bring.
It's a beautiful, cold morning. It's like in the 30s, crisp fall. We're going to ride through some really gorgeous stuff today, I hope, and
Heavy trails.
heading trails. All right, here we go.
And then there is the cold. While we don't do a lot of riding in the deep of winter, when we're on tour, we often find ourselves riding well into October and in temperatures that are down in the 40s. It's like they say, there is no bad weather, just bad weather gear. Nowadays, with Gore-Tex and a plethora of outdoor gear and outerwear accessories, you can ride in just about any weather.
Thank you for the nice jacket, honey.
Oh, you bet, sugar. Thank you for the nice knee warmers and the
Arm warmers.
arm warmers and the fleece and the smart one.
All the good stuff.
Now, we don't go extreme, but if that's your jam, you're probably not coming here getting weather tips. But rest assured, with a few lightweight layers, you can tackle 3-season riding in comfort. You're only cold when you start out. It takes about 5 minutes to warm up your body.
Ooh, it's a cold and dark and dreary day today, but not bad once we get riding.
And because you're riding a bicycle, in no time you'll be the warmest person out there on the trail. So if you plan a tour that goes into the swing seasons or into the higher elevations, packing the proper gear is essential. Now, I have a more complete video about what to pack right here. But to cut to the chase, a couple of items that are particularly handy to bring along the tour would include long-fingered gloves, a hat for under the helmet, a buff to pull up over your face for when the wind gets really cold, knee warmers, which are in my opinion a lot better than pants since they're easier to pack, more lightweight, and more versatile, and something to block the wind. My rain jacket doubles up as a windbreaker and keeps me incredibly warm. Riding in cooler temperatures and later in the season is awesome as long as you prepare.
Wow, autumn's here. It's beautiful.
One more thing to bear in mind, the seasons themselves. Google climate month by month for the destination that you're hoping to ride in and plan accordingly. We find autumn to be a very stable time of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. Spring can be pretty changeable. Summer can be great, obviously, but beware of those heat waves that hit at any time, in any place. And winter is just, well, cold. These days, weather is something that, thankfully, you can actually plan on. There was a time when weather forecasting wasn't so great. You'd take off on a backpacking trip or a bike tour, and you really didn't have any idea what was happening beyond a day or so. You just blundered forward. Now there's an app for that. Actually, a whole lot of apps. I've been happy with my Weather Underground app, as it gives me hour-by-hour conditions, including temperatures, chance of precipitation, amount of precipitation expected wind speed and direction. In other words, everything you need to plan. All with a user interface that works well for my brain to handle. There's also AccuWeather, which is often considered the most accurate, the Weather Channel, NOAA, and a slew of others. Essentially, they're not all that different, but certain interfaces work better for certain folks. In Europe, our friend Claude suggested we try UmetNet Meteo Alarm, which alerts you to severe weather. Whatever app you choose, check it often, as conditions are obviously changing all the time. And remember to keep your eyes on the skies. With proper planning, you can weather any climatic conditions that are thrown at you. The final piece of advice I can give to keep your bike tour happy, no matter the weather: attitude. Very cool, gloomy morning here in Lebanon, New Hampshire. It's been raining for a couple of days. Just coming out of a nor'easter. Everything's pretty wet. Only 50 miles to go. It's going to be a beautiful day. Enjoy the journey and the struggle along the way. We probably don't remember the perfect days of cycling as well as we remember the days that challenge us. So let it happen. Roll with the punches. The heat, the wind, the cold, the rain, it all makes for a great story. And the moral of the story is that there should be no reason to let weather get in the way of a great bike tour. Weather is also one of those things that just makes for a beautiful tour, a beautiful skyscape, or just the way that the rain falls on the leaves, or a cool foggy morning as you're riding through. This is what it's all about. Weather just makes our trips so much more beautiful. So embrace it. There's always a way to make it work for you. Rain or shine, make a plan, find your happy trail, and start riding.